Hi everyone, welcome to Module 2. Before we launch into the new material, I wanted to do a quick recap of some of the key points from Module 1. From our text, one thing I'd like to highlight are those barriers to critical thinking that we see so often. And the different types of resistance are especially important. Avoidance, anger, denial are all incredibly common. When we think about views that we hold closely and that are very important to us, we often recoil when people challenge those views. It's important to remember that when we engage in critical thinking, we don't expect to always be able to sway someone to our side, but we're really just trying to get people to live what we call the examined life. Remember that Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Instead of just accepting what we have always believed or what we have been told, we should strive to always approach questions from a thoughtful perspective. I wanted to highlight one of the examples of narrow-mindedness that our text discusses as well, which is ethnocentrism. Being mindful of the fact that people have different cultural traditions is a really valuable tool when we engage in critical discussion, because it can prevent us from stereotyping and lumping all people of a certain background into a group. I wanted to thank you all for your thoughtful discussions last week. I saw a lot of great examples of critical thinking and disagreement based on opinion. One theme that cropped up often, especially when we talked about disagreements based on opinion, was the role that emotions play in those disagreements. This is something we're going to look at in more detail this week. We're going to be looking at the distinction between reason and emotion. Reason is the process of supporting a claim or conclusion on the basis of evidence. In discussion 1.1, I saw a lot of people bringing in evidence when they talked about examples of critical thinking. Being able to reason is what a lot of people have thought is the distinctive characteristic that separates humans from animals. But approaching a situation rationally isn't always as easy as we think, as we'll see in Chapter 2. We'll learn about the emotional barriers that can prevent us from rational thought. In this chapter, we'll also be talking about the relationship between faith, religion, and reason. Here is where I want to bring you back to the point about ethnocentrism from Chapter 1. Chances are we'll have a variety of different beliefs and views about spirituality in this class. Remember to be respectful of everyone's views. This week, I'm sure we'll have a really interesting discussion. Be sure to post your initial responses to the prompt by 11:59 your local time on Thursday, April 21st. And be sure to respond to 2 classmates by Sunday night, April 24th. Another deadline we have coming up is the pre-writing for our first critical task. Critical task number 1 is the Devil's Advocate assignment. And this week, you'll begin that task by submitting your outline on one of the 2 topics. Make sure you read the instructions and let me know if you have any questions.